and I'm going to show Jesus being given all his doctrine the next time I come on the mic. So anyway.
Okay, it's getting tiring to refute your distortion. First of all, I quoted John 5:16-18 to answer your question. Let me refresh your memory. You said that the Jews never took the title Son of God to mean one who's God in nature. That's why I quoted John 5:16-18, to show you that the Jews, who you appeal to, understood that when Jesus said God was his Father and that he's the Son of God, he was claiming to be equal to God, God in essence. That's why I brought it up. That's the first point. So again, please address the points that I'm raising in answer to your objections, and stop going on a tangent and attacking strawman. Secondly, I keep saying this, and I need to repeat it again. When Jesus claims to be the Son of God, he claims it in a sense in which it shows that he's equal to the Father. I didn't say calling God your Father makes someone God. I didn't even say that if you say you're the Son of God, that makes you God. Now, this is about the 5th time I've repeated this. I said that when Jesus calls himself the Son of God, or when he's called the Son of God by the New Testament writers, when he's called the Son of God, it means in reference to him, not to anyone or everyone, that he is God in essence, co-equal to the Father. John 5:16-18 proved it. How did it prove it? Because what Jesus said is not just that God is my Father, but because he's my Father and I am his Son, I can do what the Father does, even work on the Sabbath, which you cannot do, being an ordinary man, an ordinary Jew. This is why the Jews correctly inferred that Jesus was claiming to be equal to the Father, because he could do what only God can do. Now, your reference to the title Lord of the Sabbath being a title of honor, exactly. It's a title of honor demonstrating Christ's sovereignty over the day, which is appointed to God alone. Why would God confer upon him such honor, showing that Christ is Lord over the day made for Yahweh, when Yahweh alone has the honor of being sovereign over the Sabbath? So you're saying it's a title of honor, doesn't address anything. Sarah, do me a favor, post Leviticus 23:3. Is the Sabbath a day belonging to God or to God and someone else? So when God confers upon Jesus the title Lord of the Sabbath, what kind of honor is God giving Jesus? We'll see now in Leviticus 23, verse 3. Post that for me. And John 13:3, that's going to backfire against you in a minute. 1 second. Leviticus 23:3, Sarah, before my time is up. I hope you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Okay. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, a holy convocation. You shall not work. It is a Sabbath to Yahweh in all your dwelling places. This Sabbath must be honored, and you cannot work because it belongs to Yahweh alone. For Christ to work on the Sabbath and claiming to be the Lord of the Sabbath, he is affirming that he is God and he can do only what God can do. So that still doesn't answer the question, why would God confer upon him a title of honor showing that Christ is on the level of deity, that he can do only what God can do? Now, furthermore, John 13:3, you said that all things were committed to him by the Father. This again exposed an ignorance of Trinitarian belief. The belief of the Bible is that God created everything through the Son for the Son. So the entire purpose of creation is that the Father would create the universe for the Son. So he created through the Son and gave it to the Son as the Son's property, because the Son is the heir of all creation. Hebrews 1:2, right? John 1:1-3, John 1:14. In fact, Sarah, quickly, Hebrews 1:2-3. All things were given to the Son in eternity when the Father created all things through the Son for the Son. So that's when it was given to him, because he's the heir, being the Son, whom God used to create everything. So that backfires against you. So again, please address what Trinitarians believe. Stop attacking strawman and distorting Trinitarian teaching. Hebrews 1:2, Sarah, and I'll come back and comment upon it in the next 4 minutes.
Now all you're doing is repeating yourself. You come and you say again for the 10th, 20th time, say it 1,000,000 times, as many times as you want. Jesus is the Lord of the Sabbath. Again, I explained that Jesus was given all authority, so it's a title of honor. It's not, it doesn't mean he's really God, it's a title of honor. And you admit it. So anyway, I think I've rest my case on that. You're going to come, repeat yourself. You think Lord of Sabbath makes him God. When you admit it's a title of honor, and I showed that Jesus was given all things. So it's a title of honor. He didn't own it. It's not his. If it was his, then you have a case, but it's not his. Why? because God gave him everything. Secondly, if title of honor means anything and you think it's something big, Gabriel means strong God. So is that now, that's a great title of honor if you ask me. Gabriel means strong God. So are we now going to interpret Gabriel, Jibreel means God, a very strong God? I don't think so. Now you go on the Son of God again. You bring up the Son of God. You say the interpretation, when Jesus said, I am the Son of God, it meant I am God. That's your interpretation, and that's whatever. The New Testament writer's interpretation, I don't think so. Jesus was preaching to a Jewish audience. He always said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of Israel. Go not in the way of the Gentiles, but go into the houses of the children of Israel. So he's speaking to the Jews. So we have to go to the Jews and see what they believe the Son of God means. So in the Tanakh, the sons of God, the Hebrew phrase Beni Elohim, sons of God, son of God, describes angels or immensely powerful human beings. It is used to denote a human judge or ruler, such as when they're called gods with a small g. That's what son of God means. It's to denote a judge, a ruler. Nothing to mean you are God or you have divine power. This is your interpretation. And secondly, where is Jesus' divine power? He was given everything. You even come on the microphone and you admit it. You say, yes, he's given everything. So, excuse me, is that a divine attribute? Someone who has to be given everything? I don't think so. Jesus was given everything. His doctrine was not even his. When I come on the next 4 minutes, I'm going to quote it. I was going to do it now, but I'll do it in the next 4 minutes. I'm going to show you Jesus, even his words were not his. He was given it. Same with his miracles. And then I'm going to show you a mighty miracle he did, which was not even from himself, which refutes your whole position on him being divine. And you say he's co-equal with God, and in fact Jesus said the Father is greater than I. And now come try, give your explanation on that. I already know what it is, but come give your explanation on that. That proves they actually aren't co-equal. My time is up.
Okay, maybe, answer Kashani, maybe I'll let Osama help you on the mic, because you really need it. Let me know, put a 1 if you need him to help you. Okay, now let's come back to everything being given to Jesus. And he pretty much thinks that refutes me. Let's see what Jesus meant when everything is given to him. Sarah, can you post Hebrews 1, verses 2 to 3? 1 to 3. Hebrews 1, 1 to 3. What does it mean all things have been given to Christ? Let's see, because remember, he quoted John saying that, John 13:3. So if John is good enough, the writer, not Jesus, then that means I can quote a writer to establish my point. Long ago, at many times, in many ways, God spoke to our fathers by the prophets, right? Go ahead, Sarah, one after the other for the sake of time. 2 and 3, right? But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, whom he has appointed heir of all things, through whom also he created the world. So according to the New Testament, the reason why all things have been given to Jesus is because from the time of eternity, the Father created all things through the Son for the Son. Being the Son, he becomes the heir. The Son is the heir of the Father. The Father creates the universe for the Son. So what this is saying is that the Father's purpose in creating was to create the universe for his Son. So when the Father and Son created the universe was handed over to the sovereignty of his Son. He is the radiance of the glory of God and the exact imprint of his nature, and Jesus upholds the universe by the word of his power. So Jesus is sustaining the universe. After making purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the Majesty on high. This is the same point John is making in John 13:3. How do we know? Sarah, do me a favor. Post John 1:3, John chapter 1, verse 3, John chapter 1, verse 10, and John chapter 1, verse 14. John chapter 1, verse 3, verse 10, and verse 14. Who is Jesus according to John? Now, don't forget, folks, he quoted John the writer in John 13:3. According to John the writer, Jesus the Word, this is what he says. All things were made through him, through Jesus. And without him was not anything made that has been made. And then it says about Jesus, he was in the world. Who? The Word is in the world. And the world was made through him. Yet the world did not know him. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So John, in agreement with Hebrews, says, Jesus, in eternity, existing as the Word, created all things with the Father for the Son. So that's why all things have been given to him. The Father intended from eternity that when he created everything, he would create it for his Son, his heir. Jesus himself says he's the heir. Mark 12, verses 6 to 7. So what you think backfires against me only backfires against you because you don't understand the Trinity. You don't understand what the Bible teaches about the Trinity, so you keep attacking straw men. But that's okay. That's the best you have, is straw men. Mark 12, 6 to 7, Sarah. Who is Jesus according to Jesus? Mark 12, 6 to 7. Jesus speaking, he had still one other, a beloved son. So Jesus identifies himself as the beloved son. Finally, he sent him to them, saying, they will respect my son. But those 10 had said to one another, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and inheritance will be ours. This is the heir. So Jesus is the Son, who is the heir. So in eternity, the Father created all things through the Son, for the Son. Sarah, post John 17, verse 10, and John 16, 15. John 17, verse 10, John 16, 15.